You can spend hours crafting the perfect product. You can pour your heart into every detail, but none of it matters if nobody ever sees it. And that's the brutal truth most handmade creators discover too late. You're not failing because your work isn't good enough. You're failing because you're invisible. You think success comes from talent. But in the real world, the best creators don't win. The most seen creators win. Someone with half your skill and a fraction of your creativity is outselling you 10 to 1. Not because they're better, but because they understand something you were never taught. People don't buy products. People buy emotion. People buy stories. People buy connection. And until you learn how to sell that, your handmade business will always feel like a beautiful secret that the world never discovers. But here's the good news. Once you understand the psychology behind visibility, trust, and desire, everything changes. Your content finally lands. Your audience finally grows. Your products finally sell. And your passion stops feeling like a fight for survival. Because there's a formula behind successful handmade creators. A formula nobody in this industry talks about. Today, I'll show you exactly how it works. The hidden reason most handmade businesses fail. Most handmade creators believe their biggest enemy is competition, or low pricing, or a saturated market. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. The real reason most handmade businesses fail is that creators spend 90% of their time making, and almost no time becomes visible. You were taught how to create. Nobody taught you how to build demand. You learned techniques, tools, materials, and craftsmanship. But nobody showed you the psychology behind selling emotions, the strategy behind visibility, or the storytelling that makes people feel something when they see your work. And without that, even the most beautiful handmade product gets buried under 1,000 others. When I was writing my handbook for creators, I kept noticing the same heartbreaking pattern. Talented people losing, while less talented creators with better visibility were winning. That's when it hit me. This isn't a talent problem, it's a strategy problem. And if you've ever felt invisible, undervalued, or stuck in that painful space where you know your work deserves more, stay with me until the end. Because the next few minutes will show you how successful handmade creators actually are. Not by working harder, but by understanding a set of principles almost nobody in this industry talks about. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, because we break down the real strategies behind handmade success, the ones most creators never hear. And if you've ever wished someone would finally explain why your business isn't growing the way it should, you're in the right place. Let's uncover what's been holding you back. Mindset shift. You're not selling products, you're selling emotion. If you take only one thing from this video, take this. People don't buy handmade products. People buy because of how those products make them feel. This is where most creators get stuck. They spend endless hours perfecting the object, the stitches, the glaze, the scent, the color, the detail. But when it's time to sell, they describe it like a factory description. Handmade candle, 100% soy, lavender scent, clay mug, dishwasher safe, beaded bracelet, adjustable size. You might be writing a supermarket label. Customers don't buy a candle. They buy calm. They buy warmth. They buy the feeling of slowing down after a stressful day. They don't buy a mug. They buy a ritual, a morning moment just for them, a symbol of comfort and self-care. They don't buy jewelry. They buy identity, confidence, meaning, a piece of themselves, as they didn't know how to express until they saw your work. And here's the shift most creators never make. The value of your product isn't inside the product. The value is inside the customer. Your job isn't to convince people what your product is. Your job is to help them feel what it means. Once you understand this, everything changes. Your photos, your videos, your captions, your pricing, your branding. Because suddenly you're not promoting items. You're promoting emotions, stories, and transformations. That's the reason some creators sell out every launch while others barely get likes. It's not luck. It's not quality. It's an emotional connection. And when you learn to create that, your handmade business stops being invisible. But emotion alone isn't enough. Because even if your story is powerful, no one will buy from you if they don't feel connected to you. And that's where the next piece comes in. The one advantage handmade creators have over every big brand in the world. Storytelling over product. The handmade advantage. Here's something most handmade creators overlook. Your greatest competitive advantage is the thing you hide the most. You. Big brands can copy your idea. They can copy your style. They can even copy your packaging. But here's what they can never steal: your story, your journey, your hands, your heart, your humanity. And yet, most creators hide behind their products. They post photos of items on a white background, thinking it makes them look professional. But here's the truth: a professional doesn't sell. Personal sells. People don't fall in love with objects. They fall in love with the story behind the object, the human behind the object. Let me ask you this. If two creators make similar earrings, why does one sell out instantly, while the other struggles to get a single order? Because one shows the earrings. The other shows the meaning behind them. One posts a product. The other posts a piece of her identity. When you share your story, why you started, what inspires you, what challenge your craft helped you overcome, your brand stops being a shop and becomes a connection. Your origin story isn't just background information. It's the emotional bridge that turns strangers into customers and customers into loyal fans. If you don't tell your story, people will buy from someone who does. And here's the magic. You don't need to invent anything dramatic. Authenticity is more powerful than perfection. Show your messy desk. Show your hands while creating. Show the moment your idea was born. Show your face not because you should, but because it's what makes your brand real. Your story is the reason someone chooses you instead of the cheaper, faster, factory-made version. But even the most beautiful story doesn't matter if nobody sees it. And that leads us to the biggest choke point in the entire handmade industry: visibility. How to stop being invisible and finally become impossible to ignore. Let me give you a truth most handmade creators never hear. You cannot grow a business that nobody sees. You can have the most beautiful product in your category. You can have the most touching story. You can have packaging that belongs in a luxury boutique. But if people aren't seeing you consistently, none of it matters. Visibility is not optional. Visibility is the business. And here's the part that hurts a little. Most creators don't struggle because they're untalented. They struggle because they're hiding. Hiding behind products, hiding behind perfection, hiding behind fear of being judged, hiding behind "I'm not good on camera," hiding behind "I don't know what to post." And while they're hiding, someone with half their talent is showing up every day and building a customer base big enough to live off. If you want consistent sales, you need consistent visibility. Not once a month, not when you feel inspired, not when you finish a new product. Visibility is a strategy, not a mood. Algorithms reward creators who show up. Customers trust creators they see often. Strangers become followers. Followers become fans. Fans become customers. The cycle is simple: visibility, familiarity, trust, sales. Every handmade business that grows quickly follows this sequence, whether they know it or not. In your book, you discuss how creators can build visibility through 3 pillars: visibility content, storytelling content, and value content. And when you do these 3 pillars correctly, something interesting happens. You stop begging for sales. People come to you. Your shop stops feeling like a secret. Your brand begins to feel alive. But here's the thing, many creators still miss. Visibility might get people to notice you, but it doesn't make them trust you. And without trust, no one buys. Which brings us to the next part, the moment when a viewer becomes a potential customer. Trust, the currency of the handmade world. Building trust, the moment a stranger becomes a customer. Visibility gets people to notice you. But trust is what makes them buy. And here's something most handmade creators underestimate. You're not fighting for attention, you're fighting for trust. People don't spend money with strangers. They spend money with creators they feel connected to. This is why some shops get sales even when their photos aren't perfect, even when their products aren't flawless, even when they're still figuring things out. Because customers don't buy perfectly, they buy people. So the real question is, do people feel like they know you? Or do they only know your products? Think about the last time you bought something handmade. You didn't just buy the item. You bought the feeling of supporting the person who made it. The connection, the story, the trust. Here's how creators build that trust, and it's simpler than you think. 1. Show your process. People trust what they understand. Behind-the-scenes clips, your workspace, your tools, your hands at work. These moments create authenticity no big brand can compete with. When they see the effort, they believe in the value. 2. Show your face. This is the hardest part for many creators, but it's also the most profitable. When someone repeatedly sees your face, their brain begins to recognize you as a friend. That's psychology. That's the connection. That's trust. 3. Speak, don't just post. Your voice builds familiarity. Your tone builds comfort. Your personality builds loyalty. A photo shows a product. A video shows a person. A voice shows a soul. And in Handmade, soul wins. 4. Social proof. People trust people who are trusted. Reviews. Customer photos. Repeat buyers. Shoutouts. Testimonials. Packaging reactions. This isn't bragging. It's reassurance. When someone sees that others believe in you, it becomes easier for them to say yes. 5. Consistency. Trust is not built in a moment. It's built in repetition. Post once, nobody cares. Post 5 times, they start noticing you. Post consistently, they begin to rely on you. And when people rely on you, they buy from you. Here's the truth. No handmade creator can escape. Trust is the currency of your business, and you earn it by being visible, human, and consistent. But even with trust, even with emotion, even with visibility, there's still one piece left, and this is the point where most creators lose sales: your offer. Not the product, but the entire customer experience surrounding it. Because people don't just buy what you make. They buy the way you present it, the meaning behind it, and the value they feel when they choose you. A strong offer multiplies everything. A weak offer kills everything. And now let's look at what truly makes a handmade product irresistible. The offer, why people buy, and what makes them say yes. Here's a truth most handmade creators never realize. People don't buy the product you made. They buy the meaning you packaged around it. They buy the offer. You can have the most beautiful item in your niche, but if the offer is weak, unclear, or emotionally flat, customers will scroll right past it. Because a product is just an object, an offer is a promise, a transformation, a story, a feeling, a reason to say yes. Let's break down what actually makes someone buy. 1. Perceived value to actual value. Your product's value doesn't live in the materials. It lives in the customer's mind. The same candle can sell for $12 or $48, not because the candle changed, but because the positioning did. The story, the branding, the meaning, the way it fits into the buyer's identity. Handmade creators often underprice because they're emotionally attached to it. But customers aren't buying your hours. They're buying the emotion your work gives them. 2. Uniqueness. People buy what they cannot get anywhere else. That doesn't mean your product has to be radically new. It just needs to feel personally meaningful, your creative style, your story, your handmade process, your mission, your symbolism, your values. When the customer feels, "This speaks to me," the sale is effortless. 3. Scarcity and urgency. Handmade creators have a natural advantage. There is only one of you. Your time is limited. Your production is limited. Use that ethically. Limited drops. Small batches. Seasonal designs. One-of-a-kind pieces. Pre-order windows. When something is scarce, it's desirable. When it's desirable, it sells. 4. Experience to product. People don't remember what they bought. They remember how they felt. Everything counts. your packaging, your message card, the unboxing moment, the presentation, the story behind each item, the feeling of supporting a real creator. This is where Handmade destroys mass production. You're not delivering a product. You're delivering an emotional experience. And for many creators, the offer is the missing piece between beautiful work and consistent sales. But even with a strong offer, your business won't grow if it depends on luck. You need a system, a repeatable, predictable marketing engine that turns visibility into trust, and trust in revenue. And that's where the next chapter begins. The Handmade marketing engine: repeatable, predictable, scalable. Most handmade creators think their businesses grow from inspiration, or luck, or a viral post, or a busy season. But real growth, the kind you can rely on, comes from something much more boring and much more powerful: a system. A handmade business doesn't scale by accident. It scales because the creator understands how visibility, trust, and desire work together like gears in a well-designed machine. Let's break down this machine, the same one outlined in your book, okay, so every creator can finally understand what actually drives consistent sales. 1. The clarity engine. Know who you're talking to. Before you can sell, you need to know exactly who you're speaking to, not women 25 to 45. Not people who like candles, not gift buyers. That's noise. Your ideal customer is a real person with real emotions and real reasons for wanting your product. When you speak to that person, your content starts to land. Your message starts to resonate. Your brand starts to feel personal, not generic. 2. The content engine. The 3 pillars that sell. Every successful handmade brand creates content across these 3 pillars. A. Visibility content. Short, scroll-stopping posts that make people notice you. Think strong hooks, quick transformations, satisfying process clips. B. Storytelling content. This is what makes people feel connected to you. Your journey, your inspiration, your mistakes, your personality. Big brands cannot replicate this. This is your advantage. C. Value content. Educational, helpful, relatable content that positions you as a creator worth following. It's what turns casual scrollers into long-term fans. When these 3 work together, your audience doesn't grow randomly, it grows intentionally. 3. The CTA engine. How you turn viewers into customers. Most creators never sell because they never ask. Not in a pushy way, not in an awkward way, but in a natural human way. Here's the story behind today's piece. Pre-order opens Friday. DM me gift if you want one from the next batch. This design drops at midnight. Small nudges, big results. The right CTA at the right time turns visibility into revenue. 4. The relationship engine. Your secret long-term power. If social media disappeared tomorrow, how many customers would you still be able to reach? This is why your book emphasizes something most creators ignore. Your email list is your safety net, your long-term engine, your direct line to customers who already trust you. Algorithms change, social platforms die, trends fade, but the email list is yours forever. 5. The launch engine. How handmade creators sell out their stock. Consistent sales don't come from posting more. They come from launching intentionally, building anticipation, teasing designs, revealing stories, showing process, limiting quantity, opening the shop for a short window. This is how small creators generate big revenue in a short burst. When done right, launching becomes predictable, not stressful. When these 5 engines work together, your business finally stops feeling like guesswork. It becomes predictable, repeatable, scalable. But there's still one enemy left, and it's not the market, it's not a competition, it's not pricing, it's you, your habits, your fear, your perfectionism, your self-sabotage. And unless you deal with this, even the best system in the world won't save your business. Let's talk about that. Creator sabotage, the patterns that keep you stuck. If you're a handmade creator and your business isn't growing, there's a painful possibility you need to face. It's not your product. It's not the algorithm. It's not the market. It's you. Not because you're not talented, not because you're not working hard enough, but because you're unknowingly sabotaging your own growth through patterns that feel innocent, but they are deadly to a handmade business. Let's uncover the biggest ones. 1. Hiding instead of showing up. You tell yourself you're introverted. You tell yourself you're not good on camera. You tell yourself your face isn't needed. The product should speak for itself. But here's the truth. Your product is silent. You are the voice. And if people don't hear it, they scroll right past. 2. Perfectionism disguised as high standards. You want everything perfect. Perfect photos, perfect captions, perfect packaging, perfect launches. But perfectionism isn't excellence, it's paralysis. While you polish the same idea for the 10th time, someone with half your talent is already selling. 3. Underpricing your work out of fear. You charge less than what your product is worth because you don't want to scare people away. But instead of attracting customers, you repel them. Low price equals low value in the customer's mind. You think you're being helpful, you're actually signaling uncertainty. 4. Non-stop creating, zero promoting. You make, and then wonder why nothing sells, because making is safe. Promoting feels vulnerable. But promotion, not production, is what builds a business. You are not a product factory. You are a storyteller, marketer, and brand. 5. Comparing yourself to creators who are years ahead. You scroll, compare, judge yourself, and shrink. But you're comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 7. Comparison doesn't motivate creators, it paralyzes them. 6. Expecting sales without consistency. Posting once and waiting for magic. Showing up only when you feel inspired. Disappearing when you're tired or discouraged. Consistency is not a talent, it's a discipline. And it's the discipline that separates creators who grow from creators who give up. 7. Doing everything alone. You think you have to carry the full weight. Making, marketing, photography, shipping, and customer service. But burnout doesn't hit suddenly. Burnout is built slowly through daily self-sacrifice. Your business can't grow if you're constantly exhausted. Here's the hard truth. Your habits will either build your business or break it. And once you become aware of these sabotaging patterns, you can finally start replacing them with the mindset of a successful creator. A creator who shows up with confidence, who prices with intention, who creates consistently, and who treats their craft like a brand. Not a hobby. This is where the identity shift begins. This is where you stop surviving and start building. And now, we're ready for the transformation. Becoming a successful handmade creator. There comes a moment in every creator's journey when they finally understand something powerful. Success isn't something you wait for. Success is something you build, not by creating more products, not by hoping for a viral post, not by wishing people would magically discover your shop, but by shifting who you are as a creator. A successful handmade artist isn't the one with the most talent. It's the one who understands how emotion, storytelling, visibility, trust, and psychology work together to turn passion into a sustainable business. It's the creator who stops hiding and starts showing up. The creator who stops underpricing and starts believing in the value of their work. The creator who stops creating in silence and starts building a brand people can feel. The creator who stops waiting for sales and starts creating demand. You don't become successful by accident. You become successful by design. And the beautiful part, this transformation doesn't require you to be louder, braver, or more extroverted. It doesn't require perfect photos, a huge following, or years of experience. It requires one thing, a decision to stop treating your craft like a hobby and start treating it like a business. When you do that, everything changes. Your visibility increases, your audience grows, your confidence rises, your sales stabilize, your brand becomes recognizable. Your creations stop being products and start being pieces of your identity that people want to own. This is the moment a handmade creator stops hoping and starts leading. Everything you've learned in this video is the beginning of that transformation. But now, let's put it all together and prepare you for the next step. Today, you learn the real reason handmade creators struggle. And it's not a lack of talent. It's a lack of visibility, clarity, trust building, storytelling, and emotional connection. You learn that people don't buy products, they buy feelings. Your story is your greatest advantage. Visibility is a strategy, not an accident. Trust is the currency of the handmade world. Your offer is more powerful than your product, and the biggest thing holding you back, it's often you. But here's the beautiful part. Everything you want for your handmade business, the growth, the sales, the confidence, the identity, it starts the moment you stop hiding and start building with intention. And if today's video made something inside you click, if you felt even one moment where you thought, wow, this finally makes sense, then you've only tasted a small piece of what's possible. Because this entire video is built on concepts that I break down step by step in much greater depth inside the resources I created at Handmade Education. If you prefer reading, you can get the full ebook there, packed with frameworks, templates, examples, and psychology that will save you months of guesswork. If you prefer listening while you create, there's a complete audio version of the book so you can learn while your hands are busy. And if you're ready for the deep transformation, in the kind where you stop guessing entirely and follow a proven path with tutorials, worksheets, and actionable plans, you'll find the full Handmade Creator course there too. It goes into the details we couldn't fit into one video, including step-by-step manuals and scripts for everything we discussed today. You don't have to get any of it. But if you felt this video in your heart and you know you're meant for more than struggling in silence, you'll find everything you need to grow at www.handmade.education. But before you go, here's my challenge for you. What is the one small change you will make today that your future handmade brand will thank you for? Post it in the comments. Say it out loud. Claim it. If you found value here, make sure to subscribe, because in the next videos, we're going even deeper into the psychology of selling handmade creations, so your work finally gets the attention it deserves. You've got this, and your best chapter is just starting.